feel this is too
because it's supposed to be wider than this
to allow you more air.
They try to close it up because they prevent, instead of him to pay more for the window, he try to cut short, so he do something.
Okay.
You can't proceed window here and proceed. Where will you put your bed? If somebody want to harm you, you can be harmed. So,
so this foundation has to be pulled down, I think.
Yes.
Because it seems to have rotten away.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's in the water. It is very low.
Please do subscribe to the channel just so you do not miss any of the videos we upload on here. Right, so now I have with me Frank Asaria. He's a civil engineer and an architect. He's been building houses for over 20 years. So if a civil engineer wants to tell you about home construction and home purchase in Ghana, there's nothing in here that you won't even miss. You can't afford to miss anything in here. Hello, Frank.
Yeah.
Good to have you join us. I know you're working, you're very busy today, but thank you so much for dedicating your time to talk to us.
Right.
Now, Frank, you're doing a home inspection on this. It's a 12-unit apartment, right? I want you to take us through what we are seeing here. I see they've done some plastering work here and everything included. Talk to us about this particular unit.
Thank you. I want to take you to one of this newly construction building.
Okay.
You can see this stone lay on the wall.
Right.
The reason why this stone is being laid is that they are laid to prevent water.
Okay.
We call it dampness.
Okay.
But it seems that this one cannot prevent dampness.
I see a number of people do this in waterlogged areas. Sometimes in areas where there's salt in the soil, they do this. And you're saying it won't even prevent the dampness.
It will never ever prevent the dampness.
Tell us more.
Mostly what you need to do in a newly construction, we have materials introduced for dampness when you want to construct a building. That needs to be installed right after the filling.
Okay.
And there is a way we need to do to protect your foundation before you do backfilling.
Okay.
So when you skip that procedure, you will experience dampness all over your building.
Right.
So when you want to build, first of all, especially foundation, you need to do soil investigation to know the nature of your ground. That will determine the type of foundation you need to construct for your projects. And the project, to things people don't put in consideration. We have residential building and then we have commercial building. Every type of building with its foundation.
Okay.
That we escape, a lot of people escape that. Instead of it to employ a competent person to handle what you go out, get ordinary people, masons and stuff to do that. So after the project is finished, you experience dampness all over. That's what it is.
So this property is like you experience dampness with your property in some years to come. And what business is that? You end up spending more money to treat it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You end up because it affects the plastering of the wall. The block is a porous material. So the water gets climbing the wall gradually, and release it to the block.
Right.
If you go to the front, I will show it by the side of the pillar.
Okay.
You see it then get wet.
Okay.
And you continue experiencing it. So one before I realize all your wall will go off.
Okay.
A lot of estate developers are escaping to introduce this professional perspective to assist them how to protect your foundation from that. It is better you protect it right from the foundation, than waiting for the building to come to finish before, other than you overspend so much once constructing.
Right.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the different types of foundation.
Yes. Most of the time, what I've observed in Ghana now, a lot of people are going on doing straight foundation. And I think it is wrong.
Okay.
Before you want to construct a foundation, the first procedure is soil investigation.
Okay, so you have to test your soil.
Your soil first to know the type of soil. You know, our ground, you have some loamy soil, you have sandy soil, we have some, a whole lot of, we have clean land, a whole lot of them. So if you don't do soil test, how will you know that this foundation I'm putting on will be stable? There are some water underneath.
Right.
You put up your building, the weight is there, later you see that the building been sinking, cracks and a whole lot of things happen to your building.
Right.
And most of the time too, they don't follow the building practice.
Okay.
When you go and they give you permit, there's procedure that you're supposed to go about. They escape the procedure. There are height that determine the foundation to go through that. People want to do a short work to avoid the filling. So instead of maybe your building is supposed to be about 3 feet, 4 feet, or they escape it and they do foundation close to the ground.
Right.
The right way is that if you are constructing, your foundation needs to be above the road.
Okay.
About maximum about let me say about 300 means what let's say 0.3 meter should be above or 0.45 meter, so that they prevent any water from coming into your building right now. Yeah, so we've seen a lot of people going through these challenges. Okay. So if you can see this building right here that we are about to do inspection, right? They've laid stone on the floor. You can see all over. Water must not come close to the wall. Okay. Yes, and if you look at this water spout here, water must not come close to the building. It needs to be directed from the building. It's supposed to go up underground drain. That would drive all the rainwater back or have a reserve underneath of the building. Right. So I believe that is the right way. When you want to engage an expert or something, you need to get an home inspector involved with all your construction.
I can tell your heart really lies in the foundation of the building. What is it about the foundation of the building that, explains why when you do not get it right? For instance, we've seen some people who start foundation for a single story or 2-story. Then they'll do that foundation for the 2-story. But when they get to the top, they'll think, oh, let me add 2 more stories. Then they go more higher. Talk to us about that too.
Once you've done that, you have to prepare yourself that you're going to jail.
Okay.
The reason I'm saying that the building will collapse because you designed the structure to hold 3-story. Right. Because if you want to put up a 3-story or 4-story, we have type of rebar, that is reinforcement, which we've been designed to carry the weight of the structure. And we need to know the type of the foundation need to be designed based on the structure. So when you do that, you have overweight the structure. Okay. And with time, and if you didn't do so invest, you can see your building being sink and imbalance, and you may be 40 in the building. So it is very difficult when you finish 2-story and add 1 story. It's one of the dangerous things that you need to be very.
Welcome to BuilderRex, your trusted home builders in Ghana. Whether you're here or abroad, we make home building easy. Choose from our smart and customizable designs that fit your lifestyle. We deliver your finished home in just 6 months. Let's build your home the right way. Contact BuilderRex today.
Okay. So it's good you involve a home inspector or survey home to monitor your work right from the foundation stage, because the foundation that carries the weight of all the structure. Right. The most of the time, if you don't get it right, after your building, you have to experience cracks, sink, and a whole lot of challenges defaulting the structure.
Let's now talk about the different types of soil. So maybe we could walk along a bit. So sandy soil, clay soil. You said the soil
we have
is a clay soil.
No, I'm talking about before this one. This one is a clean land. Okay. They've done the piling, refilled the ground to a certain level. Right. So this one has been fixed. So it may not be the ground itself is a clean soil. Okay. It's a clean land. And clean land, you need to do a soil to get the right nature of the ground so that in case you put your foundation, it will not be sinking or moving.
So that's a danger with building on a clay soil.
On a clay soil. Okay. So if you are building, we have type of foundation. We have rock foundation you're supposed to introduce. We have power foundation you're supposed to introduce in such areas. Right. Because when you put block in plain foundation, it seems like wasting your time. Okay. You get an engineer to restructure the ground because all the weight is transmitted on the foundation. Okay. So it's very important that every structure you need to do an investigation, involve a home inspector to assist in every procedure you take to avoid future problems.
Okay. Yeah. Now, there are some of our friends in the diaspora who are building on the Ebri Mountains, and some of them, I know them very well. They prefer the peak of the mountains. Yes. What are 5 key things that people need to know when it comes to building on a rocky place or on a higher ground, particularly in the mountains? Tell us about that.
Number 1, building in a in the mountain land require a lot of money.
Okay.
It's very, very expensive. If you don't have money, don't buy land in the mountainous or hilly lands,
okay,
because it involves a lot of funds, because
right,
you need to get an expert to cut the foundation as a step based on their design of architectural design to get the step before you construct a building. And most of hilly land, you eventually have a basement.
right.
So if you escape an expert to cut, or with a team of the machines and grader, we have way to do all those steps. So if you don't do that, and then you go in with ordinary basins and then you involve them, you end up overspending on the foundation, and later on you put pressure and you experience crack.
Okay.
Mostly in your building. So if you are building your building in mountainous area, you need to be very careful. Involve an expert, engineers to assist you to design before you go. And also you need to consider that no matter how hilly or rock, you need to make sure you do your soil test to know the type of foundation. Because the reason why I say it's expensive to build in mountains, your ground, you need a retaining wall in some areas. But retaining wall takes a lot of money, reinforcement and other things. So if you don't get an expert or home inspector to assist you with this, you will finally get it wrong. So I would advise diaspora people, if you want to construct in the hilly land or mountain in every area, you need to get a home inspector or a proper engineer to assist you to do the right thing. Or else, or you build and you get to a place you can't be able to go for it. All your strength to go, you can't continue.
Talk to us about the kind of foundation you need to do for a house you're building in a mountainous area like Ebri.
Every land, is a mountain land. Before you do a foundation, that is just I mentioned of that you need to do the soil.
The soil test. Okay.
We have pile foundation, we have raft foundation. We have so many foundation that you need to go, all determined by the nature of the ground,
of the soil.
Yourself, that will determine the type of foundation. We have free foundation. We have a whole lot of. I get it. So all will determined by your soil test report. That will indicate how the type of foundation you need to put.
How long does a soil test take?
Roughly, they can take a day to do a soil test. And a day or two after it, because they do in different section of the building. Sometimes you may have it here, the water may be below. So you can do it in one section, they can have the whole thing, or they might try to have in 4 corners. So after that will give them, they will know the report, the water table level, where it's supposed to be, the type of ground, the nature of the soil. So you get report of every level of the soil. That will determine how you can structure your foundation.
Right. Now, Frank, I see something over there. Maybe we could go there and then talk about what today we are doing a home inspection with Frank. Right. So, what's really happening over there?
Probably what I can say is that mostly, let me say, a lot of tenants refuse paying for bills. So the owner tried to put this pipe on separate section for all the tenants. In case you want to do washing or something, you can come in here to do your washing. But I probably see that it's not the right way of doing, and it's too exposed and stuff. I don't think this is the best way to search into the area. So I believe that most of the time, if you are constructing a building like this or something like that,
and this is an apartment unit for rental.
Apartment for rental. You need a home inspector. You need an engineer architect to assist you how to position some of things like this to help to have a finishing house. So Frank is not happy with this. No,
he's not happy with what he is seeing here.
You can see the wall is being tiled.
You
see, this is. You are wasting a lot of money. It's expensive to prevent to spend a little to prevent dampness than spending so much by buying the soil is expensive. So I would advise anybody that if you want to construct a building in Ghana, let involve an expert or and someone who is expert in foundation to advise you how to prevent dampness right from the foundation. It is very, very important.
Frank, there are some house rooms that are very hot, and then I've read or I've come to experience, or I have experience to share with regard to people who did not use expect, and as a result of that, they didn't position their buildings well. So all of the sun hits the building directly. Talk to us about positioning of buildings.
Position of building. Fine. Let's come this very. If you can see from here.
Right. So Robert wants to show us something here.
You see the window. Sometimes you made mention of that. You feel heat in the building.
Yes.
It is advisable that when you construct a building, everybody needs to have a fan light. You see the fan light? The purpose of the fan light is that it also bring light and bring airing into the place.
Okay.
But this one is sealed.
Okay.
So how do you have water? And most culture we have in Ghana, using this glass is not advisable for us. We are using it based on beautification.
So Robert is not happy with these glasses that we've been using for our homes.
Our Ghana, the nature of our type, we normally use the louvers ones that is airy to your bed.
Okay.
It is danger in case somebody want to harm you. It can be harmed. So you redesign your building and the windows in such a way that there can be air into the
You're
building.
the second engineer who has spoken about the kind of windows we use and the fact that it's better for Ghanaians to use the louvers. But now we want something more beautiful. So we're going for these windows.
So if you want to use this window, you have to plan that you need to have air conditioning.
So the moment you are building like this, trying to pay ECG more money because you'll be using a lot of money electricity
to cool your building.
So budget heavily for your electricity bills because you want beautiful windows.
And another thing that creates heat in the building is the height.
Okay. True. Some houses, some apartments, the moment you enter, the ceilings are so low. Okay.
Yeah, because yesterday I went to see a certain friend's house.
Right.
When I entered the house, no. So they asked me, I said, the place is too hot.
Right.
And I see they need a lot of things to be done in their building. It's okay. So if you have a very low building and you see the nature of our ground and there are type of material you don't supposed to use in terms of people use nowadays TNJ. You know, there are some of TNJ you don't require in your building. It creates heat. The nature of our distance, you don't need those things. It creates heat.
Okay.
So you need to have a higher height, at least 3 to 3.1 or 3.3 meter high ceiling, so that the place can be airing.
Okay. With regard to heat, now there are some people who are using very creative means to ensure that the rooms are not too hot. It's hot in Ghana. What do you have to say with regard to using of bricks for building?
Bricks, those days is used because there was no block like this. Bricks is always used.
Right.
But bricks is good, but it's also have a limited time because I've experienced bricks that they've used for some building in Valley View. I've seen it that with time if you don't get, it's not well manufactured. But using bricks, you might think it's very cheap, but it's expensive.
Okay. Bricks are
a little bit expensive. It's good regards to cold weather, but I don't think it will take away the heat regards to our condition.
okay.
Same as these blocks that we are using. The most in the nature of the way. If you go to Dubai, look at their weather.
Okay, very hot.
Very hot.
Yes.
So every part of their building, they insist that you need to have air conditioning. It's part of their building practice.
Right. Robert, Frank, and let's go to one of the rooms. Today I'm doing the home inspection with you. So let's go to one of the rooms. Come with us. Let's go to one of the rooms and see what we have in there. So we have spoken largely about foundations and everything in between. Come with us. Come. We are here now. Let's get into this unit. Remember, it's a 12-unit apartment. So we'll get into this. It's a 2-bedroom house, right?
Yes.
So we'll get into it and Frank will do his assessment of what he sees here. Okay.
If the client want to give it out for rentals, but first of all, you want to ensure that things are done right. But for now, we are going to do preliminary inspections to know before we come back later to come and do the proper, make sure things that we want to in place to be checked. The light is off. Mostly we check the light, we check the pressure. The light is off. This is for fun, it's not been fixed. We check the socket. We ensure the TV cables. We test the power to ensure if it's working well. We check the lighting system. We switch the lighting system, the fan. We regulate to see if the fan is working well. Those are some of the things we check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the size of the window okay?
The size of the window is supposed to be higher,
Yeah,
but
I think
the
so
client
too.
chooses to do it this way. Most of the time, the client refuses to listen to the advice of the architect or to follow. They don't follow the building practice. But
Right.
it's a
Yeah, I
standard window
honestly feel this is too
because it's
small.
supposed to be
Wider
than this.
to allow
At the
in
end of
more
the
air.
day, let's try to close it up
Right.
because they prevent instead of him to pay more for the window, he
Oh.
try to cut short so he do something.
So the property owner wanted to cut on cost of buying, the glass or the frame for the window. So they had to cut on the size or the opening for the window to cut on cost. And
Yeah.
Frank is not happy with it.
So I believe that it's supposed to be wider.
Should have been wider,
All
right.
this is supposed to be
Okay.
wider
Okay.
to bring airing into the
A
building.
lot of air into the building. Okay. So Frank, so that's the dining area, that's the main hall. Which other place again
Yeah,
would you like
mostly
us to
when
check?
we do inspection, we check everything. We do inspection on the door to ensure if the
Okay.
door is being locked.
Okay.
We check, I told you it's initial, we check the air condition, but all
Okay.
these things
All
are
of
done
these
in
things are
place.
not in
All, we inspect all.
Are you happy with the windows? There's a window.
Welcome to BuilderRex, your trusted home builders in Ghana. Whether you're here or abroad, we make home building easy. Choose from our smart and customizable designs that fit your lifestyle. We deliver your finished home in just 6 months. Let's build your home the right way. Contact BuilderRex today.
Yeah, this is a bedroom.
This is a bedroom.
Okay.
Here is a bedroom.
Is the size of the window okay?
This is a small room. I think it's okay. The reason why the position of window is good, one will bring one there is heat, one will be taking out heat,
Okay.
and one will be airing. So this is how you're supposed to position your window.
Okay. Okay. So let's get over here just so they can see it well. So here are two windows, and
Yes.
Frank is happy with the fact that there are two windows here. You're saying it will help with the
airing aspect of
Of the
it.
place.
In
Okay.
case there is heat, one will be taking the heat out, the air will be circulating,
Oh.
it helps with circulating in the building.
Okay, right. So that's it with allowing for more air in and out of a room. So are you by this therefore saying that it's not advisable for you to have just one window in your bedroom?
It's not advisable.
Okay.
Because it creates heat in the building.
Okay.
You have a heat, or you create a heat, you need a heat extractor
Okay.
in some position because one window is not advisable. Or you have to get an air condition.
Okay.
You have to on air condition every day.
Every day.
And you have to know the cost you are going to pay if you put a one window. So
Are you happy with the ceiling of this building?
the ceiling is so not simple. That's what
The
height. The height is okay.
Okay.
But mostly I prefer my height to be higher than this.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I prefer my height to be higher than this. But that is the client's requirement, the client wants. Because when you finish the structure, the PO people also come, they have their height that they also take.
Okay.
So as long as you don't include the POP, their design height into your design.
Right.
When they come doing their POP, you can see it reduce the height
Okay.
that you want.
It brings the height down further. So you have to go higher so that when the POP guys do their work, there's still some space.
There's still some space.
It's like leaving an allowance for your drinks.
Yes.
Perfect.
So this is a temporary inspection.
Okay.
Things are not in place to be checked. The windows we check, the closing, if the people close well, we check the locks.
Okay.
The heat, the air condition is not fixed. We need to on the air condition to ensure that it's working perfectly.
Okay.
Let's go to the washroom. This is the wardrobe.
Okay.
It's not part of it.
So let's go to the washroom now.
Let me tell you brief about this. What is done when you rain or when you bath, all the water can return here, even the opening of the doors like this. Because the space is too small, I prefer the door should be open.
Okay, it should come this way rather than go inside. Okay.
Now, you need a dual wall here.
Okay.
You need a bath curtain because you are ready for rentals. In case you bath, the water may not be able to
Because the
spread.
level is the same.
It's the same because they didn't
Right.
take proper gradient. So all the water will come back here. So I think that is not a perfect way of.
If you are bathing in a room like this, you have to take precaution. When you take one water, then you wait for 5 minutes, then you use another water again. So at least in one eye, you'll be done bathing, else all the water will come here. Can you imagine? Frank is not happy with the level of tiling in this bathroom. I have seen bathrooms with doors like this too, and they end up rusting. Frank, talk to us about that.
Now there is modernization now.
Right.
For years, this is all, we have a flash door which is being designed for bathroom.
Right.
And now, because of technology, some are opening, they prefer using this one, but now I prefer the glass one to be used because it's a glass. So when the water splashes, it may not damage
the door.
Okay.
So
I recommend that we use the modernization glass one in your washroom area due to bathing.
Okay. Okay. So that's for the bathroom, and I think this is going to be for the toilet seat.
You see, it's not fixed yet.
Okay.
The shower stool is not fixed.
Okay.
We check the pressure of the water. Everything is being checked. We check the sink is not fixed.
Okay.
All these things are being checked. We check the kitchen.
Okay.
Sink is being not. We can go to the kitchen to have the inspection.
So
this is the master bedroom.
Okay.
So things are not completely here for us to inspect. But he want to give it out. But
this room has 3 windows.
Good.
This is big.
Good.
1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Okay.
You see, you can feel the area inside.
So this place is area than the other room. Right.
I think.
Okay.
So you can feel without fan, you can feel the place that is airing into the building.
Okay.
So this is a master bedroom.
Okay.
So you can see that there's the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
You see?
Right. Okay. Oh, okay. I think something has fallen. Let me just get it for you. Okay, so let's go. Let's go. Right.
You see, the toilet is not being fixed.
Okay.
So how do we check?
Okay.
So, but this is temporary. As I said, we told them that there are things need to be in position before we come and do the proper assessment.
But are you happy with this bathroom? Because over there wasn't any block to prevent.
It's something like this when you need to provide the rail, the glass, so you can come in. But I think the height is a little bit higher.
Right.
I get it. Okay. So when you back the water almost out, they have a floor drain. In case there's any floor, water spillage can go through.
Can just go through.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this is a little bit.
So Frank likes this one. Here there to take you 10 minutes to shower. The other place there 5 hours.
5 hours. So this is a temporary inspection that we need things to be in place before we'll come and do the final inspection because then we can see all showers is not fixed, no water in the building to do the assessment. So these are a few assessments that you may have from us.
Okay.
So we can go to the kitchen.
Okay. So come with us to the kitchen. The kitchen is here.
You see, position of this.
Okay.
Assume you have a kid at home.
Okay.
And certain things like this. It is dangerous to position things like this.
Okay.
Assume you are not around it playing with this.
What would you rather be done? Should it have been taken up?
And how the position of it is wrong.
Right.
Look at how the space is left. All need to be covered. We do all inspection on this. We also clean the main switch. We check all if it's being cleaned properly. We inspect all this in case we are buying it.
Should have gone up.
Yeah, so we assess all this to ensure that everything is done perfectly.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so that's the kitchen.
This is the kitchen.
Come to the kitchen where all the delicious meals to be made. Okay.
You can see the kitchen too is not complete, it's under construction.
Right.
You can see the sink too is not fixed.
Okay.
To be checked.
Right.
Yeah, we check the water pressure and all things are not being fixed.
Okay.
No cooking, we check all those things which is not in place.
But are you happy with this kitchen?
Yeah, it's nice. You see, there is no light.
Okay.
We check all these things.
Welcome to BuilderRex, your trusted home builders in Ghana. Whether you're here or abroad, we make home building easy. Choose from our smart and customizable designs that fit your lifestyle. We deliver your finished home in just 6 months. Let's build your home the right way. Contact BuilderRex today.